Preface. My Nova Books presents The Last Leaf of Gilderthorn by James Ashwell. Step into an enchanted forest where a single magical leaf holds the fate of an entire realm, and an unlikely hero must journey through storms, shadows, and ancient rites to keep winter's frost at bay. To explore more, please visit mynovabooks.com. The following voice will narrate your audiobook experience.
Hi, I'm Seamus O'Reilly. I will be the narrator for this story.
Now sit back and enjoy. Now reading The Last Leaf of Gilderthorn.
Long before anyone could count winters, 3 wild winds braided one seed into a bare hill. From that seed grew Gilderthorn, a tree whose bark flashed like gold at sunrise. Each autumn, every leaf fell except one, that glowing survivor, called the last leaf, held the ember gleam, the spark that kept the whole forest alive. If the leaf was planted in sacred soil before the ground locked with ice, spring would return. If not, frost would wake, grow a mind, and try to rule forever. Every year the people held Gatherfall, the choosing ceremony. They wore plain bark masks so rank would be forgotten. Elders sang the first planting chant, and the last leaf drifted from the high branches toward its next guardian. Whoever the leaf touched had to carry it through the wilds to Heartseed Hollow and press it into Everloam's soil. The task always tested courage, humility, and truth. As the newest ceremony approached, everyone expected Prince Corin, tall, bold, shining in silver threads, to be chosen. 10-year-old Talon, the stable cleaner's son, watched from the outer ring, straw still stuck in his hair. When the elders sang the opening note, the last leaf loosened and floated like a tiny lantern. It glided past nobles, past the prince, and settled in Talon's rough palm. The leaf blazed brighter, as if happy with its choice. Talon's breath snagged. His palm tingled hot where the cool glow lay. Pride and fear rose together like 2 winds knotting. His heart hammered. His knees wanted to fold, but his fingers curled gently so the leaf would not slip. Gasps cracked the hush. A court advisor muttered a false word, mischoosing, under his breath. Faces twisted with shock. Elder Brynner struck the staff of rings to quieten everyone, and began the old verse. Youngest of embers, gatherer's son, carried summer through snow before dawn. She reminded everyone that the first guardian had been a common child. The forest was warning them. They had forgotten the poor in the land. Prince Corin's cheeks burned. For a breath, a sharp winter nip of envy bit his ribs. Heat chased it as he swallowed hard, and chose to bend like a sapling rather than snap. He knelt before Talon, unhooked his sun-metal amulet, and hung it around the boy's neck. With the flat side of his small ceremonial sword, he tapped Talon's shoulders. "I will stay behind if the forest asks it," he said, voice steady though his throat felt tight with loss and relief together. The leaf pulsed, pleased, its quick, bright thrum an assent. Without delay, Talon set out that very night. His hands shook and his breath came quick, but his feet moved. At the gate, Prince Corin stood bareheaded in the cold and watched him go. He did not call after Talon. He would not tilt the choice, but his slow, misting breath uttered well wishes for Talon. The journey tested Talon in 3 ways. First came the web of the wind weaver. In the gale-cut clearing, a storm spun around black pines. A wind-weaver spider the size of a wagon flung a net made of whistling air and sleet. Talon fought, but every jerk pulled the strands tighter and leached warmth from the leaf. Panic fluttered. He felt the ember gleam thin, a chill shadowing his wrist. Remembering his mother's bird call, he whistled the high triple note, the stable call that meant, "Come now, friend." A giant eagle swooped, slashed the anchor threads, and the wind web unraveled. The eagle left one silver feather on his bootlace, then vanished into cloud. Talon's shoulders sagged. Relief warmed his face, and he tucked the feather close with a quiet thanks. Second came the mockery of the underbark goblins. In the dark between root pillars, shapes stirred. Underbark goblins crept from tree knotholes, mocking his low birth. Burstones stung his arms. Jeers echoed. Shame prickled like nettles. Talon ran, but shadows multiplied. Cornered, he clutched the prince's amulet. "I carry the leaf for all," he said, thinking of stable hands and shepherds' children crowding the stall doors in winter. The amulet, sun metal sworn by princes to serve all, glowed hearth-red, and that old oath light answered truth. Light spilled between roots, and the underbark goblins shrank, memories of broken promises burning their eyes. They hissed and scattered like smoke in wind. Talon's breath steadied. The sting on his forearms seemed to cool under the leaf's steady warmth. Third came the hollow of echoed springs, where pools promised anything the heart desired. The water showed cozy scenes. His father in a warm cottage, tables heavy with bread, winters without hunger. Talon's knees buckled, the last leaf dimmed to a coal. A faint stable rhythm, hoofbeat, heartbeat, tapped inside Talon. The keep-working beat the villagers sang over muck and cold to make fear small. He sang the village work song, naming every face that needed spring. His voice shattered the dream. Water went dull and cold. The leaf flared bright green again. Tears dried on his cheeks in the wind. He wiped them with the back of his glove and kept on. At last he reached Heartseed Hollow. Low clouds, furry with rime, pressed against the rim when Talon arrived. Frost hissed across the sacred soil like white iron filings seeking a magnet. From the swirling shards rose a towering ice troll, tusks of crystal, voice like cracking lakes. Stable scrubs whelped. It boomed. Kneel to the long night. Lay down the ember. Sleep. Frost shackled his ankles. Crust crept over his knees and thighs until they burned with numbness. Doubt bit deep. The troll's illusions whispered. Silence. Stillness. Forgetfulness. His thoughts went slow as midwinter sap. Fear tried to turn his face away from the ever-loam soil. Talon yanked off his right glove so skin could warm the last leaf directly. He clutched Prince Corran's amulet with his other hand. The amulet drummed with his heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. the same stable rhythm that had saved him from the false promises of the hollow of echoed springs. And the golden tremor from the amulet travelled into the leaf. Hairline cracks fissured the ice at his feet. He lifted the leaf high, its glow reflecting in the troll's faceted eyes. "I am the youngest son of a stable cleaner, and I carry the leaf," he declared. The memory of Elder Brynner's planting song flowed through him, and he sang the chorus over the roar of wind. Root to ring, ember to earth, green shall wake to humble birth. Each note struck the ice like a hammer. Courage rang in his chest, thin but true. The monster recoiled, then lashed again, voice like cracking lakes. "The age of ice is coming. Kneel and be still." The giant cracked apart, shrinking into an ordinary snowman with pebble eyes. The ancient frost spirit slithered back, unable to feed on his courage. Ice still gripped his legs. He dropped to both knees, the crust crunching, scraped open the rime with bare fingers, and cradled the leaf in his naked palm. "No more empty winters," he whispered, his throat raw and hopeful. He pressed the last leaf into the dark, everloam soil. For a beat, nothing happened. Then a spark leapt from the leaf into the soil. Light veined outward in molten threads. The snowman sagged and puddled. Frost retreated in popping shards. Buds swelled on nearby branches, though night hung overhead. And Talon's breath, which had smoked white a heartbeat before, vanished into mild air. He exhaled a final word carried by warming wind. "We remember." Warmth spread like sunrise under snow. Birds chirped out of season. When Talon limped back to the village, sap already scented the air. The prince met him at the root ring and knelt again, this time beside him. Corin's eyes were rimmed with wakefulness. Relief loosened his shoulders. Elders removed their bark masks and bowed low. Granaries opened. Nobles and laborers shared bread. They carved a new groove in the staff of rings for Talon's small handprint. That night, after the feasting songs thinned, Talon's mother wrapped his frost-red hands and blew on his knuckles until they tingled warm. His father's laugh broke and mended in one breath, as he lifted Talon like a sack of oats and set him on the hay bale throne the children had built. The stables smelled of straw, damp leather, and new sap drifting in from the ring of trees. Prince Corin came to the stall door, cloak plain over his silver, and stood with a shy care he had never needed before. Talon's fingers went to the sun-metal amulet that hung around his neck. "It's yours," Talon said, throat tight, starting to lift the chain. Corin's hand covered his, gentle. "Keep it until next gatherful," he said. "Let it mean what it should. Service we hold together." The amulet pulsed once, warmth answering warmth, and Talon felt the weight sit easy. No longer a borrowed shine, but a shared promise. Corin took a bucket and, without looking around to see who watched, helped Talon's father water the mares. Talon's chest loosened. The hoofbeat, heartbeat rhythm settled into rest. Each winter after, children built snowmen and laughed at fear. On root days, everyone, princes, shepherds, stable cleaners, tended streams and cleared fallen branches together. The chant gained a fresh line. From stall to spring, small hands saved everything. The last leaf would glow anew next autumn. But the people of Gilderthorn no longer waited for magic alone. They remembered their humble roots, and the forest breathed easier because of it.
End of The Last Leaf of Gilderthorn. Outro. Thank you for joining us for The Last Leaf of Gilderthorn, written by James Ashwell and narrated by Seamus O'Reilly. We appreciate you listening all the way to the end of this story. If you enjoyed this book and want to discover more great selections, please visit mynovabooks.com. We hope to share more fantastic stories with you soon.